All right, true story. This morning, Donald Trump congratulated himself for Republican primary victories in Arizona. Here's what he said, quote, MAGA candidates won everything last night, a complete sweep. I won Arizona 18 months ago. The Democrats are dumbfounded. Congratulations to all. Yeah, Trump-endorsed candidates did win in key contests in the state last night, but let's just take a look at who exactly Donald Trump endorsed. There's former Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb, who spent the final weeks of his campaign fighting allegations of sexual misconduct and abuse of power, texting women outside of his marriage. For what it is worth, a spokesperson for his campaign did tell the New York Times that the allegations are lies. But even after the allegations became public and some of his alleged text messages were released, the president reaffirmed his support for the guy. And Lamb just cruised on to victory last night. He will be replacing outgoing Congressman Andy Biggs. For his part, Andy Biggs easily defeated Congressman David Schweikert last night, winning the Republican nomination for governor. Biggs, you might remember, was a critical ally to the president in 2020 and 2021 when Arizona became pivotal to overturning Trump's loss to Joe Biden. Biggs even pressed the state Republican House Speaker to decertify the state's electors there. And he was not by any means the only election denier to win last night. There is the Republican nominee for Secretary of State in Arizona. It's Alex Codlin. He is a state representative who aided those failed attempts to overturn the state's election results in 2020 and, by the way, in 2022. And now, as Donald Trump celebrates his election deniers inching ever so closer to controlling elections in a crucial state, Republicans are trying to help pass Donald Trump's voter suppression bill by, I swear to God, invoking the Olive Garden. The chain recently brought back its never-ending pasta pass. You might be familiar. It provides 13 weeks of all-you-can-eat pasta to any customer who presents proof of purchase and a photo ID. Sounds kind of good. But from the halls of Congress now to the echo chambers of MAGA media, the talking point about never-ending pasta has, I think it's fair to say, been never-ending.
Photo ID as a form of verification is a part of American life. Americans must show an ID to participate in a wide range of everyday activities, including boarding a plane, entering government buildings, cashing their checks, buying a gun, and enjoying Olive Garden's endless pasta bowl.
Have you looked at what Olive Garden's doing?
No photo, no pasta. Nowadays, if you want to go to Olive Garden and get unlimited pasta, you got to show a picture ID.
That's weird. Olive Garden takes Pasta Pass security more seriously than Democrats are taking election security.
We have the Olive Garden require ID.
You can buy a pasta pass, an unlimited pasta pass.
You must present a photo ID with your all-you-can-eat pasta pass.
If that's the rule for rigatoni, should it be the rule for voting?
The problem is you don't want a situation like Red Lobster had with people sharing.
Maybe we just need to change the name of the bill to the Olive Garden law.
I think it's great. Change the Olive Garden law.
I was told that's like voter ID. Isn't that racist?
Access to fettuccine at Olive Garden is vastly more secure than deciding who is commander-in-chief of the country.
Not a complicated subject.
Mark Elias is a celebrated voting rights attorney and founder of the Elias Law Group. He is also founder of Democracy Docket. He joins me now. Mark Elias, Stephen Miller has never had the feta cheese at Olive Garden, number one. The breadsticks are delicious, number two. And number three, I do want to talk about this insane obsession that they have with the Olive Garden. I don't have a question. What do you want to say about the Olive Garden?
All right. First of all, I've eaten at the Olive Garden. So, that may not surprise a lot of you out there. But here's the thing. What Donald Trump and the Republicans are trying to do with photo ID is a bit of a bait and switch. Because I bet you if you go to the Olive Garden, they don't say that your driver's license is from out of state and therefore you can't vote. I bet you at the Olive Garden, they didn't put in the fine print that if you have a college ID issued by the state, that is the only form of state ID that cannot be used to buy pasta, right?
No pasta for you.
The fact is, it's one thing for Republicans to constantly be saying, photo ID or ID bills are popular. But what about proof of citizenship? Do you have to prove citizenship in order to order the fettuccine at the Olive Garden?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I don't think so, and I would hope that that is not the case. And that's the whole point.
You and I can go. We can check it out.
I would love to, and I'm not kidding about the breadsticks. They're very good. I'm glad you don't need an ID for the breadsticks because I don't know what I would do, to be totally honest with you. It does seem, though, Mark, like what they are doing is just more of the same. They're trying to freak people out about the elections coming as they are getting closer to trying to ram through the SAVE Act. And I know that is something that is of grave concern to you.
Yeah, look, Donald Trump doesn't have a plan to win this election by inspiring voters. He doesn't even have a plan to win this election by, like, you know, having voters begrudgingly buy onto his policies. He has nothing to run on. Like, prices are up, the economy's down. Like, the Congress under Republican leadership has done literally nothing for the American people. All Donald Trump does is wander around the Oval Office, adding fake gold and weird statutes and ripping down parts of the buildings. And so what he's realized is that his only chance of winning, the only chance he has to holding control of Congress, is by making it harder for people to vote and easier for Republicans to cheat. And so that's what he's doing, right? Like, the SAVE Act is just an opportunity to try to make it harder for people to vote. His executive orders, where he's trying to, you know, force the Postal Service to only deliver the mail-in ballots to people on a list that he approves of, that's just like trying to disenfranchise voters and have Republicans cheat. So this is their only strategy. And they are left lying about things. They're left, you know, exaggerating things. They're left giving bizarre speeches like Donald Trump did about foreign interference, which was all a bunch of nonsense. But here's where we're at, and we just need to be prepared for the fight this November.
Let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about the election deniers that won their races in Arizona last night, because it really wasn't just Andy Biggs. There's the state Senate president, Warren Peterson. He got the Republican nomination for state attorney general. He made unfounded claims about fraud in 2020. And then earlier this year, people should know that he gave the FBI files from a 2020 state Senate probe into claims of election irregularities in Maricopa County as part of the effort by the president to question the results. There's also this other guy, Alexander Koledin, and he won the Secretary of State nomination. He was sanctioned by the State Bar of Arizona, and he was placed on probation. He was trying to prevent the state's electors from casting their ballots for Biden, who obviously won Arizona. If all three of these folks were to win, Mark, in November, what does it mean for Arizona in 2028?
Don't forget the Kraken litigation.
Go ahead.
Don't forget the Kraken litigation, right? He was involved in the Kraken litigation, which were these cases. My law firm and I litigated 60 plus cases on behalf of President Biden and the DNC, including these Kraken cases, which involve some mythological sea creature or something, you know, whatever. So it's not a surprise that lawyers got sanctioned over that. But the fact is that, you know, each one of these positions, the governor obviously certifies the electors and also certifies members of the House and Senate. Secretary of State also countersigns a certificate of election for Senate and other down ballot races. The Attorney General obviously is a critical role in making sure that, for example, counties that refuse to follow election laws, you know, they can take action. In fact, the current Attorney General had to sue some Republican counties for refusing to certify elections in the past. So these are vitally important positions to democracy. The problem is it's not only happening in Arizona. Like, Arizona is among the worst, but we are watching this happen in state after state after state, where the only people who can get through a Republican primary are these election deniers, and it is a real threat to the future of free and fair elections.
And as you pointed out, they just keep repeating the playbook from all of these other states, because hours before the polls closed, they announced they were monitoring polling sites all across Arizona, Maricopa, Apache, Pima counties. They say it's to ensure transparency and ballot security and all this stuff and to comply with federal law. But the DOJ has done this in many states and you know, probably will continue to do so. I wish we had more time, Mark, but we will continue this conversation another time. I appreciate it. Mark Elias, thank you so much for being here.
Maybe at Olive Garden.
Anytime, Mark. I'll text you on the side. I got you.